showing up and continuously showing up and demanding for justice and demanding for real change now. Minnesota, we have an opportunity to lead this nation for true change. Change that many of us will see and many generations to come will benefit fully from. And so this rally, we're going to get started here. We have a lot of speakers, a lot of people here to hear from. And so I want to first of all just ask all of you here, I appreciate you, I see you. And in this moment right now, the people are asking, are we going to stop marching? Are we going to stop demanding for justice? And people need to know we are not. There is a fire that is burning in all of us. And justice delayed is justice denied. We are not done. The revolution is just starting. People are waking up, and this is our moment, and we are going to realize and demand for real change now.
How long can we win?
Now, I want to hear you. Say his name.
George Floyd!
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 What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
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 What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Thank you all for joining over here live
When do
in
we want it?
Minneapolis from the government.
All right now. This is exactly, yes, give yourselves a hand.
Care.
This is an important moment for all of us, because I always like to start off by saying we got to tell the truth. We always got to tell the truth. And we got to tell the truth so that we can move forward. And the truth is, this country is guilty of genocide of Native Americans. This country is guilty of slavery. This country is guilty of profiting on people of color. This country is guilty of mass incarceration. And this country is guilty of today of continuing that through the police forces that we see all over this country. And we are demanding for real change now. And without further ado, I'd like to bring our first speaker. Maybe you know Michelle Groves from Communities United Against Police Brutality. Give her a hand.
It's okay, I'm good. If we don't get no justice,
We don't get
no peace. If we don't get no justice,
no peace!
if we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. This is the center of power in our community. And it's a center of wrongdoing in our community. In this building sits Michael Freeman, the very man who tried to avoid prosecuting Derek Chauvin by making a backroom deal before he was even arrested. Y'all know that? Boo! And in this building is the very place where huge numbers of people of color are sent off to the prisons on the daily basis with no let-up. And are you okay with that? Oh, hell no. So, I've been in this movement for a few minutes. 32 years to be specific. And in that time, back in the day, I was telling somebody, back in the day, you talk to people about what the police are up to and the harm they cause and the brutality. And if the people were white, they look at you like you were out of your mind. And if the people were black, they look at you like, yeah, we know, but there ain't a damn thing we can do about it. And I'm telling you now, there is many damn things we can do about it. One day I woke up and we had Ferguson. And ever since the day of Ferguson, I've been saying to myself, thank you, Ferguson. Thank you for raising this issue up. And now we have our movement coming to life in this community in the biggest way possible, and I love it. And so I really thank you for being here. I'm excited to be able to work with you and move forward. But let me tell you something. We had Ferguson. Minneapolis didn't do a damn thing. I'm talking about the people over that building over there, City Hall, talking about the city council, talking about the mayor. We told them, y'all better do something because it's about to jump off here. And they said, oh no, we can contain that. We'll just bring out our cops and crush the movement. Didn't work, but they tried. Then we kept on pushing them, fighting with them, getting dragged out of City Hall, all of that stuff like that. And they still kept on thinking that they could keep this under control. Even after people did an occupation at the 4th Precinct for 18 days. And we said, are y'all going to deal with this or not? And well, you saw the answer, not. Then they killed Justine Damon, and that brought a whole lot of new people to the street that they hadn't seen before. A whole different crowd of folks were pissed off then. And did they do something about it? No. You tell me, did they? No. No? So they still drag their asses. Okay? So now I'm up here, I'm going to drag their asses too. Because I'm going to tell what it is. If they had done one damn thing that they should have been doing, one, if they had done any accountability, a guy like Derek Chauvin would never have been able to be a police officer and able to kill George Floyd. The blood of George Floyd is on their hands. And we need to be clear. Now they come out, they're talking about, we're going to disarm, we're going to, shut down the police. Then, oh no, we're going to defund the police. Oh, now we're going to have a year-long conversation. That's the latest one, right? I don't know how many people can wait a year for justice. I'm not planning to. And I hope you're not planning to either. We're not waiting a year for justice. There are things they could have been doing all along the way. And they have chosen, made the choice that they cared more about sidewalks and bike lanes and highways and whatever and all this and fountains and whatever else, and not about people and our safety from police violence. That's the choices that they made. And now they're trying to worm their way out of it by looking like they're going to try to do something that went from, disbanding the police all the way down to, no, now we're going to have a year-long conversation. Are you okay with that? No. Hell no, I know I'm not. So we have some demands that are being put out. Other people have got demands that are being put out too. We all work together. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to say something about their little tactic of trying to split the movement. We know better. All of us in this movement have been working together a long damn time, and we know better. You ain't splitting this movement. This movement is united. This movement is powerful. This movement is strong. And this movement is gonna win. You are not gonna play us off each other, and you will accede to the demands of the community. And I don't mean in a year from now with your phony mechanisms and all that crap. We're doing it now. Change is now. We demand change right now. No more George Floyds. No more situations of bruised, battered, and broken bodies. You will be reining in your damn cops. I said it, yes I did. Thank you all.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! When do we want it? Now! Say his name! George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd! And now I'd like to bring someone that all of you know. A black woman who's leading this movement, one of the leaders of this movement, has been on the streets every single day when it's not only convenient, but when it's not convenient, regardless of who is being killed on the streets. And someone all of you know, Nikema Levy Armstrong, civil rights leader.
This is beautiful, y'all, because they thought we were going to get tired. They thought we were going to give up. But what are we doing? We saying, hell no, we won't go. Say, hell no, we won't go. Say, hell no, we won't go. Say it so that Governor Walz hears you. Hell no, we won't go. They need to understand that we are relentless in the pursuit of justice. And as Michelle Gross said, it is blood on all of their hands. Because we came to them again and again and again and again and again, asking them to put forward changes to overhaul this wicked and corrupt system. But did they listen to us? They acted like they had no power to do a damn thing. And even thinking about Governor Walz, we went to his office 8 or 9 months ago and we shut it down. And we demanded that he come out and meet with us to talk about the lack of police accountability. But do you think that he had enough courage to come out of his office? No. And then he wants to get on TV and talk about what he wants to do now. That's absolutely ridiculous, and it's not leadership. Even to call out the National Guard, primarily against nonviolent peaceful protesters, who were out there in the first place demanding an end to police violence and accountability, and rather than transforming the system, you want to respond with more violence, with tear gas, with rubber bullets, with cops in riot gear, trying to intimidate people and abuse people, standing on top of the rooftop looking like snipers over the 3rd precinct. I see why people got mad as hell, and they said that we're going to fight back. We are tired of our government being able to get away with murder and allowing police to get away with murder. But today, as we have done for the last 5 or 6 years, we say enough is enough. Somebody say enough is enough. Say enough is enough. One of the things that they can begin to do, if they are serious about addressing police violence and the lack of accountability, is to remove killer cops off the force now. They are a liability in Minneapolis. They're a liability in St. Paul. They're a liability in Richfield. They're a liability in Edina. They're a liability in Duluth. They're a liability in Bloomington. They're a liability in Hopkins. The state troopers are a liability. The park police are a liability. The Hennepin County sheriffs are a liability. The Ramsey County sheriffs are a liability. The Metro Transit police are a liability. And we're fed up. So if they're serious about transforming these systems, get those damn killer cops off the force. And get the cops off the force who have a history of excessive force, beating up on people like some cowards because they know that they have weapons at their disposal, they have batons at their disposal, and they have the twisted power of the law at their disposal, which was not written for the people. But we are tired and we are fired up. And we are not going to stop until we get justice. Justice for George, justice for Jamar, justice for Philando, justice for Mapcom, justice for Billy Hughes, justice for Marcus Golden, justice for Jeffrey Smith, justice for Cordell Handy, justice for Travis Jordan, justice for Fong Lee, justice for Fumi Lee. You see, the list goes on because they've slaughtered so many people and they've gotten away with it. So I'm asking you all today to stay connected to this movement. Even when we get tired, take your time and rest and then get right back on the front lines. Lace up your boots. Refuse to be refused. Stand up for justice. Hold elected officials accountable. We need all hands on deck in this fight. All power to the people. God bless you. Thank you for being out here.
How about that for Nikema? Now we're going to hear from Issa, the youth of this movement.
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? If George don't get it, if George get it?
Ask him how long. Say how long?
How long?
We win.
How long?
Till 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 we win.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
All right.
All right, now I'd like to introduce someone that all of you know. And I just want to appreciate all the black women in this movement who've been leading, especially all the mothers as well, who understand this pain from a different perspective. Hearing George Floyd call out to his mom is the truth about the leadership of this community, and particularly black women. So I want to now bring up the NAACP Minnesota's chapter president, Leslie Redmond.
Grace and peace, good people, grace and peace. Too often you all hear me quote Fannie Lou Hamer, who said, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." But I don't know if you all really understand what I mean by that. I didn't come to Minnesota to fight white supremacy. I came to Minnesota to go to law school. And coincidentally, this was the same time that Mike Brown was murdered in Ferguson and Black Lives Matter was activated. Not even a year later, our brother Jamar Clark was murdered by the Minneapolis Police Department. The summer after that, Philando Castile was murdered by the St. Paul Police Department. And you all know it goes on and on and on and on. Last night, I came across a video of our sister Diamond and her baby in the backseat of that squad car. And I don't know how many of you remember that video, but that baby at 4 years old was comforting her mother, saying, "Mom, please stop cursing. Please stop screaming because I don't want them to shoot you." That is deep. And that baby said, "Tell God to come right now because we need him." I believe that the murder of our brother George Floyd is to activate. It's to activate Minneapolis, Minnesota, America, and the entire world so they can stop killing black bodies. My brother Steven Jackson is here. He's going to come out here and talk to y'all in a second. And I remember when I first met this brother face to face, I felt convicted to say a prayer. You remember that? And when I was saying the prayer, I lie to you all not. I felt like George was coming to me. And he was saying, "Sis, it's going to be all right. Because it ain't over until it's over." And I don't know about you all, but I serve a mighty God who sits high and he looks low. And he's been hearing our cries. And he's been seeing us fight the good fight. I've stood on these steps way too many times. And enough is enough. The National NAACP has a hashtag. They said, "We are done dying." Can y'all say that? We are done dying. Say it like you mean it. We are done dying. When I came to Minnesota, I didn't know that I was coming to a white Wakanda. But I want to let you all know that through your marching and through your activism, you have made Minnesota be discovered by the world. Everybody knew about Prince. People knew about Target and all these Fortune 500 companies that existed, but they didn't realize how much these racial disparities that we are talking about are real. This is not just theory, this is a reality. Brother George Floyd was just one, but they are many. Many who have been murdered by this police department. Many who have been brutalized by this police department. I cannot even mention all the black women who I've had to stand with and advocate with because, again, not only do they not see our humanity, our sister Sojourner Truth said, "Ain't our woman." They don't even recognize our women in their womanhood. And so when we fight for our brother George Floyd, recognize that we are fighting for every little boy and girl so they can grow up in a world where they are judged by more than the color of their skin. Now is not the time to be quiet. Now it's time to get live. It's time to represent. Now is the time to activate like we've never activated before. I know this fight has been so long, right? When Nakima was my law professor in law school, I don't know that we knew that we would end up right here today, but I believe that God was orchestrating and he had a bigger plan. I don't think it's a coincidence that Mike Freeman got kicked off of this case because the powers that be realized that he wasn't going to do the right thing like Spike Lee. Okay? And I want you all to remember this historic event. The fact that George Floyd has changed the world. He has changed Minnesota. We saw 4 officers get fired on the same day that the police tape was released, or the video was released. Shout out to Chief Arredondo. We saw 4 officers get charged. Shout out to Attorney General Keith Ellison. And we're going to see 4 officers get convicted. Y'all agree or not? We're going to see 4 officers get convicted. And I want to make this clear. Officer Chauvin, he was the one who had his knee on the neck of George Floyd. Just like Minnesota has had their knees on the neck of black bodies for far too long. And Officer Chauvin, he failed those other 3 officers who were in training. And those other 3 officers, they failed George Floyd. Because if at any moment, any of them has stood up and stood on the moral authority that we all have and said enough is enough, our brother George might still be alive today. Now, that's a very technical example. But I want each and every one of y'all that's out here to think about when y'all have stood idly by when somebody had their knee on the neck of a black person. And I'm not just talking about literally. I'm talking about that time where you allowed that person to repeat the same thing that a black person said and act like it was a new invention. That was their knee on our neck. I'm talking about that time where you were quiet when you heard your friend saying those racist jokes. That was a knee on our neck. I'm talking about those times where you stood by and you watched the police brutalize a black person. That was a knee on our neck. Right? The knees are on our neck every day. And you all, especially our white brothers and sisters with your privilege, you have an opportunity to help move those knees off of our neck. So do it. Y'all know what I say. Don't complain, activate. Say it with me. Don't complain, activate. Don't complain, activate. Don't complain, activate. Help us to get the knees off of our necks. Y'all heard what Malcolm X said, get your hand out my pocket. We got to start telling them, get your knee off of my neck. I want to invite you all, if you don't know, we are having a memorial in celebration of our brother George Floyd's, his life and his legacy. The memorial will be at Shiloh Temple International Ministries tomorrow at 6 p.m. You all are welcome. Get there early. We do have a capacity, but it is open to the public. We really want to celebrate together. And then we're going to be having a youth event, which you all young people can reach out to me directly, Leslie E. Redmond. Again, just it's time to activate. The work is definitely not stopping. It is literally just getting started. But I believe that God has an amazing plan for us. So I just ask y'all to just stay tuned and activate like you never have activated before. Amen? So that's more than I intended on saying. Brother Steven Jackson, come on out here with us. So y'all know this brother. Give this brother a round of applause, for real, for real. Because he made sure that his brother's name didn't go down without a fight, okay? This brother flew in, flew out, and flew back again to let us know that the fight is not over, but it is just beginning. Give this brother a round of applause. I want to see everybody giving this brother a round of applause. Because as he is mourning, he is turning his pain into power. He is activating like never before. And we got to stand with this brother because it ain't over until it's over. Love you, brother.
Love you too. Y'all give a hand too for those beautiful, beautiful sisters. Give them a hand again, bro.
They've been inspiring me ever since I met them. So when you have two powerful black women going to war for all of us like that, I gotta go harder. It make more sense for me to put my life on the line and go harder. All the cameras gone now. My brother's buried. It's a lot of people we won't see now, but I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere. I predicted this. I predicted once my brother's funeral was done that everybody that came along for the photo ops, everybody that was around for the wrong reasons, they gone now. But it's a bigger picture. She said all those names, and she could have went on to name more names. So it's bigger than my brother, and it's bigger than me. I'm definitely here for fighting for justice for my brother, but it's a bigger picture. Last time I was here, I seen too many mothers crying that had no justice, that had no Stephen Jackson to speak up for their sons. So I feel it's my duty to not only fight for justice for my brother, but to ease some of these pain for these mothers that never had justice or never had a voice. And see, Minnesota Police Department, I think y'all messed up. I think this is where y'all got things fucked up at. Y'all didn't know if Floyd had a professional brother that was a professional athlete. Y'all didn't know he had a brother that was going to put his life on his line for his brother. But see, if they would have paid attention, they would have seen in 2005 when I ran in the stands for my teammate. I am my brother's keeper. And I will continue to be my brother's keeper. Money never made me. Material things never made me. I'm a person that can stand here that I done told every race that I love them and mean it. And every race done told me the same thing. And I know and I believe it. So I'm here today fighting for all of us. I got my brothers that came with me, Charles Oakley, Al Harrington, and my brother Will. I got a lot of people behind me, and I appreciate y'all fighting with me. Because it's bigger than us. Together we stand, divided we fall. And all y'all here, 18 countries, all 50 states protested at the same time. That goes to show that there's more of us standing for love than more people standing for hate. We running them out, y'all. We running them out. 18 countries, 15 states, we all standing for the same thing. They listening. We cannot stop now. We gotta keep going. We gotta keep fighting because it's bigger than all of us. If we stand shoulder to shoulder, side by side, as y'all see, we cannot lose. We cannot lose. A lot of people have been taught a lot of things, but one thing they can't say they've never been taught is love. Love outweighs everything. I'm here today. I'm letting you hear Minnesota. I'm not leaving until my brothers get justice. I'm standing here with my head up, chest high, until I get justice for my brother. I ain't going nowhere. I'm bringing more people with me every time I come here. There's no need to postpone nothing. Everything is on footage. All these cameras here are filming the same thing that you're seeing, but they're going to put it on TV, and as people watch it, they're going to expect people to believe what they recorded. Well, why is it different with the murder of my brother? But we gonna change all that. We gonna change all that. We gonna change it together. I love all y'all and I mean it. Love for all who have love for all. Justice for George, man. I love y'all. Thank y'all for coming out.
Thank you for that message of solidarity encompassing the pain and experiences of many families that did not receive justice. So thank you for being out here for everyone and acknowledging that. I am Monique Cullors Doty, organizers with Twin Cities Coalition for Justice and Black Lives Matter. I am also the aunt of Marcus Golden, killed by St. Paul Police in 2014. So I really understand that message, and I thank you for it. So when I say Black Lives, you say matter. Black Lives, Black Lives, Black Lives, Black Lives. All right, next, we're going to bring up a group that's newly formed, fairly newly formed. It's Families Supporting Families Against Police Violence. And this really speaks to what our brother was just talking about. The people and the families who have not received justice. So many did not have a video. If there was a video, it was deleted, it was destroyed, evidence has been hidden. But thank God for our brother George, that video was out there up front and center for the world to see. But for so many of us, including myself, that is not the case, right? So we're still fighting to get evidence, fighting against the false narratives put in the media, fighting against racism and racist comments that even I see George, unfortunately, his family's having to fight as well. So right now, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. This is Families Supporting Families Against Police Violence. Y'all please come up. This is a leader, Tashira Gary Allen, who had the initiative and the heart to create this organization to bring the families together as they continue to fight for justice for their loved ones. Welcome.
Thank you, Monique. And we want to thank Monique because she's also a family member, but she's been out here. She's been out here as a family member fighting so hard for all of us. My name is Tashira Garraway, and I am the founder of the new group, Family Supporting Families Against Police Violence. Our families have decided to come together and fight together because we understand that if it was one family that was going to change a whole system, it would have happened already when we seen it with Fernando's story, right? Because it was on camera. So we understand now that it's not just one individual family that can fight a whole system that is strategically designed to keep a certain group of people oppressed. We understand that now. And so before this happened to George, first of all, I want to say George is the face of hundreds of murders here in the state of Minnesota that have been covered up time after time after time again. He's the face of hundreds of murders here in Minnesota and thousands of murders around the United States. And so before this happened to George, we were pleading with the people in the political seats to hear us, and not only to hear us, but to put some action behind it, to help us to get community control of the police, to do some prosecutions. We were pleading with all of these people in the political seats, and we were being ignored. And the reason that man sat on camera, he sat on camera knowing that he was being recorded. The reason that he felt so comfortable, did you guys realize how comfortable he was on that video knowing he was being recorded? Why? Because there has been a whole strategic system that has allowed them to do this. You guys may not have known about it, but we were living it. I've been living it for 10 years. My son's father, Justin Tigan, was brutally beaten and thrown in a dumpster by the St. Paul Police Department. It was a 2009 Emma Teal. He had dog bites. He had a busted skull. His head was the size of a basketball laying in this casket. So the brutalization that you've seen on the video with George, you can just imagine what's not on video. Because we live, all of our families standing up here today, Jamar Clark's family, Ashley Quinones' families, Phil Quinn's family, Monique's Marcus Golden family, Isaac Aiden's family. We live what's behind the videos that you have not seen. And so we need these people in the political seats to pick a side. And we need them to pick a side not between black and white. Not between black and white. We don't need them to pick a side between political and the community. That's not what we need. We need them to pick a side between what's right and what's wrong. What's right and what's wrong. What's right and what's wrong. We need them to go behind, put those positions aside, and look at humanity. You look at humanity and look at the fact that our black and minority men, Native men, Hispanic men, Asian men deserve to come home like they want theirs to come home. That's all.
Hi, I'm Ashley Quinones. I'm the wife of Brian Quinones, who was murdered on September 7th, 2019 in Richfield, Minnesota. I want to put pressure and knowledge on everybody that it's all across the board. It's not just happening in the big cities to get the big name, but it's these little cities that are also murdering our people. It is also the jail system that we have in front of us. We have Hardell Sherrill, who was killed in Beltrami County Prison or jail. We need to start looking at the system as a whole and not forgetting that it's a common problem. It's a policing problem on all fronts. So we needed to collectively include all of the people whose names are not mentioned. We have Breonna Taylor, whose case is just getting open. You know, we have black and brown women who are being killed now as well, and they're getting stepped on by people who don't care because they're not big names to them yet. But we need to focus because the families need support. That's hence why we're up here in solidarity, is because we absorb the families. Our pain is all the same. It's a shared pain. We're fighting so you don't ever have to walk a mile in our shoes, okay? So we got a collective Mod Podge of people up here. You know, it's a policing issue that goes very deep. And I really want everybody to start paying attention to all the injustices that we're not paying attention to. We've been distracted for far too long. Now that your eyes are open, use your mouth, use your feet, use your body to get out here and fight for us, because we've been out here silenced for 10 years. You know, my husband's only been dead for 9 months, only 9 months. I've been to hundreds of protests, hundreds, countless hours. We have had no sleep, and we're trying to do it for everybody. It's for all of y'all. It's clean across the board for everybody. We need your support. That's what we need right now, support. Thank you.
If you want to know more about Justin Tigan, Brian Quinones, or this next speaker, Isaac Aiden,
hi everyone, my name is Samaya Aiden. I'm the younger sister of Isaac Aiden, who was murdered in Eagan, Minnesota on July 2nd, 2019. I don't even live in Minnesota. I live in Los Angeles, California. I was a college student, but had to drop everything and come back to Minnesota to deal with the murder of my brother and the process. And we've been protesting since July of 2019. It is now almost July 2020. It has almost been a year since my brother was murdered. My brother was a 23-year-old college student at the University of Minnesota. He was studying IT and infrastructure. He would have been class of 2020. He was, in addition to being a full-time college student, he was a business owner he created his own home care business called Aidenx Home Care. He was also a full-time banker at Spire Credit Union in Roseville, Minnesota. His life mattered, and he deserved to be here. My family and I have been fighting alongside some of these great activists, and for the past almost year now, we have been protesting. We have gone to city council meetings. We have put in data request forms. We have put in data preservation letters. We have been ignored. The police department went as far as to block me on Twitter. Thank you, Noah, for suing them. My pleasure. There were 90 officers for just my brother. The footage is out there now after they've held on to it for 5 months. He was sitting on the ground on a curb, unarmed, when they started shooting and killing him. They left his body there for, I think, for 20 minutes to fix a gas pipe that they hit. They did not give him any help. They didn't. And I'm glad I read an article this morning talking about the medical examiner and him being reappointed. And I went through a lot of emotions thinking about that, because everything from the point when they kill your loved one, everything that comes after that is a complete lie. They go as far as to tarnish their names. They went after my brother saying he had a series of petty misdemeanors. They were paid parking tickets. They did the same thing with Ahmaud Arbery, bringing back the footage from 2017 at the Walmart. They tarnished every single thing. Everything after they murder your loved one is a cover-up. So with the medical examiner, again, being voted, it was a vote of 9-2, with 2 people only saying no. He was reappointed again, even though he lied about the cause of death in George Floyd's murder. Yep, and other people's as well. The same thing in all of our families' cases. None of it is the same. And we sound crazy saying that they're all after us, they're all out to get us, they're stalking us, they're outside of our houses with vehicles, they've tapped our phones. There's literally on footage, the same police department that blocked me, their chief of police saying he's watching my social media. The Mall of America cybersecurity team watching my social media. We are not crazy when we say these things. These are things that are happening in your own neighborhoods. It's happening in your own backyard. It's easy to say when you see it happening in California, when you see it happening in Miami, when you see it happening in Kentucky, like Breonna Taylor's. It's so easy to say, oh wow, the racist South, but we're living in the Jim Crow North. All right. And we need to speak up. We need to stop. We need to speak up, and we need to stop the selective rage. There is no crime in the state of Minnesota that warrants a death penalty. We do not have the death penalty. Cops do not get to be judge, jury, and executioner. We should be coming out in numbers for every time one of us is murdered in the street. Every single time someone is murdered. I have been fighting for the past year. Throughout the whole past week, I have been in Los Angeles, California, protesting there, trying to spread my brother's story, trying to spread awareness in Los Angeles, California, that there is 400 murders since the year 2000 that the Minnesota has murdered people. There's been 400 numbers. 429 murders since the year 2000. But I landed last night and I'm out here today. You need to do the same. You need to come out every single day.
Bonjour, hello everyone. I'm going to keep it real short and hopefully simple. First, I'd just like to say on behalf of the families, I want to thank everybody who's still out here with us even 2 weeks later. As Tashira said, Justin was killed 10 years ago. I have an extended relative who was killed 8 years ago. Nobody protested back then.
Say his name. Tell his name.
My nephew who was killed 8 years ago, his name was Dante Wright, and he was killed on May 31st in 2012. He did not get no justice. Dante Wright. Actually, no. He went by Chicken Wang. Can everybody say Chicken Wang? Chicken Wang! Chicken Wang! Thank you. And then one more thing right quick. I'm also here representing an organization that was just created this past week. I'm the adult supervisor of it. I'd like to shout out Native Lives Matter Youth Alliance. I'm working with a group of wonderful young ladies who lost their uncle to police brutality in Denver. I lost my cousin here. Philip Quinn was shot and killed by St. Paul Police Department. Can everybody say their two names? Paul Castaway. Paul Castaway. Philip Quinn. Philip Quinn. In 2018, police brutality stole another family member. Can everybody say Billy Heels? Billy Heels. Billy Heels. Billy Heels. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked right quick. But sorry. About our Native Lives Matter Youth Alliance, we are a group that stands in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and the adult group Native Lives Matter. We will be hosting our first event this coming Saturday. We'll be meeting at Loring Park at 10:30 a.m. Prayer will begin at 11. This rally and march will be on the International Day of Protest to bring awareness to all of the youth stolen by police brutality and all those who have been affected by it, those who are left parentless, those who have been those who experience police brutality themselves, who fall victims, anybody who's lost an auntie, an uncle, whoever. If you have been affected by police brutality, please come join us on Saturday. We will be meeting at Loring Park at we'll be marching to the Government Center back here.
Thank you all. Thank you for taking time to listen to us. Thank you.
Thank you. And that newly formed group will be marching here to meet Black Lives Matter for an event at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So come on back out in solidarity with TCC for J and many other
Charles
groups.
Oakley,
So
Al
now we
Harrington,
got Sam
3
Martinez
ex-NBA players.
with TCC for J. Let's give a shout out to Sam because he gets it in. He is about the business of justice and standing up. So I love Sam. He's there for me. He's there for everyone who needs him. All right, Sam.
Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Woo! So my name is Sam. I'm an organizer with the Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar. We've been doing organizing since Jamar was killed on the north side in 2015 in November. And we've been fighting ever since. And it's unfortunate that we've had to stand by the side of so many families. But we had something that changed when Jamar was killed here in Minneapolis. If you weren't here at that time, you should have been, because it was amazing. Not only did and we talk about that chant, indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. And what's the most important part about that chant is actually the second part. And that's the whole system is guilty as hell. It doesn't matter if we're talking about that building behind you where the city council and the mayor who were elected on the backs of Jamar Clark, on his blood, on the blood of black and indigenous and working class people killed by the police. It doesn't matter if it's this building behind us, the Hennepin County Government System, that took Jamar from his family and kept him and countless of other peoples locked in their jails right across over there. And it doesn't, and these all have connections to the banks and corporations and billionaires and dirty politicians, both red and blue. The Democrats and the Republicans, they don't give a shit about the people of Minneapolis or any other people across the country or the world. What we saw, the uprising that we saw, that was a combination of being in an economic crisis, a pandemic where nobody gave a shit about the people, especially the people who lost their jobs and were on the front lines and got hurt the most, black and brown people, working class people as well. And then on top of that, there's been a rash of lynchings, whether they were by the police or by white vigilantes in our communities across the country. And when our brother George Floyd was killed, not only Minneapolis, but the country and the entire world said enough is enough. And so what we have right now is we have the system trying to restructure itself into a nicer side of capitalism, a bunch of bullshit. What we're seeing right now, we can't be fooled by it. It is nonprofits that are supported by the Democratic Party that are working with these politicians to try to make it look like they're going to abolish, like they're going to defund, like they're going to reduce the police force. But we know this isn't true, and I can tell you why. We've seen it for the past 2 years. What they're doing is they're taking taxpayer dollars and privatizing it or putting it into other nonprofits. And where did that money go for the past 2 years of the budget cycle? Part of it was supposed to go to the Office of Nonviolence, but we saw hundreds of rape kits that remain still to this day untested, and we don't know where they're at. It was supposed to go to housing. Where is that money for housing? It's disappeared. Our people are unhoused and homeless, and all kinds of working people across the city and the country. So we know that what these politicians are telling us are lies. And so we believe in a diversity of tactics, meaning we're going to have to do a lot of things to get what we want. And part of that was what we saw in the past 2 weeks, but now we're making a shift into more democratic struggle where we're going to confront these politicians at their homes, in their buildings, in their workplaces. And so that's why the Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar wants community control of the police and supports the demands issued by CUAPB for legislative changes throughout the entire system, because we know until we return the power to the people, we will continue to be under their boots, just like our brother George Floyd. All power to the people. Oh. And just real quick, we're throwing a protest for Pride. Planning meetings start tomorrow. Because the first Pride party, it didn't start with no parade, it started with the riot.
Thank you, Sam. What do we want? When do we want it? For who? For who? For who? That's right. So next we have Noah McCourt with Disability Justice Network coming to bring a message. Thank you, Noah.
As I said, my name is Noah McCourt, and I appreciate Monique wiping off the mic for me out of concern of the virus. However, we have a virus that we've been dealing with in this community for way too damn long. And that is the virus of police brutality and white supremacy. MLK once said that in these types of situations, we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And are we silent here today? Are we silent? Say his name! Say his name! And we sit here today in solidarity with the family of George Floyd and the families of people like my friend Amity. Come out here, Amity. These are the families that the Disability Justice Network deals with all the time. The stories that are forgotten, the stories where their kids should not be dead today because they called for help, for support. And I, myself, am a survivor, and I realize that that is a luxury. Before I got here, I got off the phone. I was on the phone with members of our state legislature. And they were saying, oh, well, Noah, we proposed all these bills. It's going to be great. And I looked at them and I said, you know what? These bills are a pile of bullshit. Can I hear you? Bull! Bull! There we go. Our legislative system is not built off people who want to promote change. Our legislative system is built off seniority and more of the same. And people who deserve a voice are denied that voice repeatedly, and we are here today to reclaim that voice. If you are not part of this movement, if you are not standing with the people, you're part of the institution, and you deserve to be voted out, whether or not you're at a big county, or whether or not you're in the city of St. Paul. Minnesotans deserve better. And as my friend Nakima said, skinship ain't kinship. If your name is Representative Rena Moran, if you are Carlos Mariani, I'm calling you out, and I am calling you out here today because Minnesotans deserve better. We don't stand with seniority. We don't stand with this bullshit. We stand with widespread systemic change that stops this from happening again tomorrow. We stand with our black brothers, with our black sisters, with the families of Kobe Heisler, with the families of Samaya Aiden, with our trans brothers and sisters, with our disabled brothers and sisters. Because this ends, and it ends today, and it ends with the power of people like you and me, because we are tired. Are you tired? I can't hear you. Are you tired? I'm tired. Let's go make change.
We're going to be marching soon, but before that we have a few final speakers, and now I'd like to bring our brothers and sisters from the labor movement who stand for justice for George Floyd.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? You're not loud enough. I don't think Mike Freeman or the mayor could hear you. How is everybody? Are we ready to fight for justice? How long? How long? How long? My name is David Gilbert Pedersen. I'm an organizer, I'm an educator and an activist, and a proud member of Minnesota Workers United. Brother George Floyd's death sparked an incredible working-class, black-led uprising in this city and across the world. But as that was happening, many of our large labor institutions and the complicit and complacent labor bureaucrats have not risen to the occasion. There should be no equivocation. Black lives matter. Black lives matter, and the police have no place in our movement. The National AFL-CIO must expel the International Union of Police Organizations immediately. These killer cops are not our labor siblings. These killer cops are scabs. They're strike breakers, and they're class collaborators with the evil ruling class that has kept us under subjugation for decades. Labor bureaucrats are spinning out hollow calls for reform or the resignation of Bob Kroll, but none of that shit matters. Workers, rank and file workers, are in the streets. We're organized and we're carrying the community cry. Defund the police. Abolish the police. The tens of billions of dollars a year nationally that are spent on killer cops and wrongful death suits could be better spent ensuring that every child in every zip code has access to a high-quality public education by teachers with training who look like them and who've lived their experiences. That money could be better spent making sure there is a clinic and a mental health place in every community. Now, with abolishment, you'll hear a lot of virtue signaling from liberals about, oh, what about crime? What about how are we going to take care of people? But let's be honest, since the beginning of this uprising, we have seen more solidarity and more mutual aid than the government ever gave us. Places like the autonomous Sheraton Hotel, places like Pimento Relief Services, or the North Side Patrols on Broadway, or the AIM Patrols in South, we better take care of our community than these politicians, than these police. We must continue to invest in these types of solidarity and mutual aid, not killer cops. Abolish the police. Solidarity. Black Lives Matter.
How y'all doing? My name is Sandra Killebrew. I'm up here and I am representing the University, Local 3800, University of Minnesota clerical workers. But I also was born and raised on the north side of Minneapolis and the south side of Minneapolis. And just to give some people an idea of how long this has been going on, I can remember a name of a young boy that was taken from us too soon, Tysell Nelson, back in the 90s. This is a marathon, y'all. We have to keep on running. Like the sister said, when you get tired, you need to get back up and you need to fight. Because silence, that's not going to work no more. Trying to get down and do it, no. We need to have our voices heard. We need to be persistent. We need to make these people that we put in office, we need to hold them accountable. We need to hold them accountable. Did you hear what I said? We need to hold them accountable. I am a mother. Have mercy when he called for his mother. I am a mother. I am a sister. I am a cousin. I am an auntie. I am a grandmother to a black man. Power to all the people.
Hi everyone, my name is Allie Furman. I'm the president of AFSCME Local 2822. We represent clerical workers here at Hennepin County. My union sister, Dr. Samita Hill, wants to talk about next steps. She's the vice president of the Social Worker Union Local 34. So when I say next, you say steps. Next! 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 All right, here's Samita.
So I'm just here before you today because I want to remind us all why we are here, what took place as to why we're here. We had a black man who didn't have enough money to go in to get essential needs that he needed and was killed and was murdered. So what the next steps are that we need to be thinking about is, as a community, we need to be rallying around and strategizing around making sure that there are black-owned businesses that are still in North Minneapolis and South Minneapolis. We need to demand that Hennepin County, when they restore these two communities, that the people of color still have their businesses and they're able to keep their businesses there and they're not gentrified. We need to gather together around African Americans because we are the most disenfranchised group. We do not have our own stores. We do not have essential businesses like grocery stores, pharmacies. We don't have gas stations. We do not have liquor stores. We don't have any economic power in the United States that we helped to build over the past 400 years. So as a collective, we all need to stand together and to continue to march so that we demand that we all get this economic balance back into place. That we need to be a part of the economic structure. That we also, as black people, as African Americans, need to have economic power. So my charge to you is, don't stop walking. Don't start collectivizing yourself and coming together to march for this unified front. We need to ensure that there are black-owned businesses across the nation. But in our state where we are at, we need to make sure in those two neighborhoods that no other black person or person of color or anyone in the United States, where we are the richest country, cannot go in and get food for their family, toilet paper, in a pandemic. So my charge to you is, make sure that your voice is heard. Anytime you can make a phone call, send an email, send a text, march for black-owned business and people of color, BIPOC people, these businesses back in these communities. That is our charge. That is what we need to do. If we don't, it's business as usual. These 4 men will go to jail for murder, and we will still be economically poor. We will still not, as a black person, I do not have a store that I can go to, and if I don't have money, a black person cannot give me some bread. But I can go to my Somali brother or sister, my African brother or sister. I can go to my Hispanic brother or sister, and I can go into the store, and I have been treated with kindness, where they have said, I don't have enough, and they said, take it anyway. Or I needed some bread and they said, you can have it. But as an African American, I could not lend that to my brother. So all of you who stand with us as African Americans, that's my charge to you. Those with privilege, white privilege, that are white allies that stand with us, use your voice. Use your collective energy, your funds. We have to gather our own funds. We can't depend on the government to give us the money. We have to set up a fund so that we can have black-owned businesses, African-American business. We can't wait for somebody to feed us. My uncle said if you feed a man a fish, he'll starve one day. But if you teach a man to fish, he'll never starve. He'll always eat. And so if we wait on the government to do everything for us and for Hennepin County to ensure that they put loans aside, we'll starve again one day. But we have money, whether it's $5, $3, we can come together and have our own essential businesses. And those are grocery stores, pharmacies, the gas stations, and liquor stores. Those are the essential services that we need as African Americans. So I thank everybody today standing in solidarity, and I fight along with you.
All right, we have the last two speakers from the youth from the University of Minnesota. Now introduce to you Jayla Lyman.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! This chant resonates with me most, even in its simplicity. We simply will have no peace until we have justice. Systematic racism is larger than any of us, and I personally have struggled to discover where I can make the most intentional impact. Joan Gable, the president of the University of Minnesota, has not used the term racism or called out justice for black students specifically. I believe that the term people of color allows white people to feel more comfortable when discussing issues that are directly impacting blacks specifically. The U of M created a scholarship in the name of George Floyd that allows eligibility for people of color and or those who are majoring in social justice, meaning any student can receive this. Joan, we know exactly which people of color are affected. Black people. Man. They are the ones who deserve this scholarship. We are tired of your colorblind approach to racism. It is okay. You can call it how it is. I am not sure if she is worried about offending people or if she is deliberately choosing to sugarcoat the issue. Cutting ties with Minneapolis Police Department was like putting a Band-Aid over a wound that requires surgery. Thank you for your attempt, but it is simply not enough. No amount of Band-Aids is enough. This is a race issue because systematic racism has allowed this to continue. And for those who are murdering, lynching, and harassing the black community to simply get a slap on the wrist, I ask you to imagine if that were your father. Would you be able to look at the police the same? Would you still believe that they are committed to protecting you and your family? SDS, along with many other student groups, are dedicated to amplifying the voices within the black community that you continue to ignore. Our demands are first to minimize the University of Minnesota Police Department by reducing its budget. Our second is to disarm the UMPD because they should not have guns on a gun-free campus. Our last demand requires the implementation of Student and Community Accountability Council, which derives from the Civilian Police Accountability Council. This Sunday, June 14th at 3 p.m., the battle continues with a march across campus demanding community control of the UMPD. Join us as we continue to make Joan hear us. I hope that Joan will take this opportunity to show us through her actions that she wants justice, and we will give her peace. History is watching!
All right, I love that. In the youth. When we're gone, they'll be taking over. And hopefully we will have solved all the world's problems, right? Well, we have a couple of announcements to make. We've got Hodo, who's going to come up with a couple of announcements.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. May peace be upon y'all. My name is Hodo Dahir, and I came here to this country as a refugee. And I didn't come here to this peaceful country to see my brothers and sisters die. That's why the next generation is going to be the one that's going to change. I currently work with CARE Minnesota as a civic engagement organizer. And as a youth, what we organize is the next generation that will lead. On June 21st at 3 o'clock until 7 p.m. at the state capitol. Y'all have to show up. We know that youth have been tirelessly showing up every single day. We've been out in the streets. We've been out in the rallies. We've been outside of our homes, showing our solidarity with one another. But as a Somali American, as a Muslim woman who's physically, you can tell what my color is, what my faith is, I don't want to be afraid anymore. I want to stand up for justice. So I want to see you all June 21st.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Racial Justice Network tomorrow at 3:30, from 3:30 to 5:30, we will be at Bob Crow's office, 1811 Northeast University. Bob Crow must go. Solidarity Rally for Justice with Racial Justice Network. All right, now remember, Saturday we're here again at 1 o'clock following the Native Lives Matter Youth March. We'll be coming here. That's Saturday. Next on the mic, where's Mel Reeves? Mel, okay, come on. This brother Mel Reeves, and I just have to tell you, he is our last speaker, yes. But also, Mel Reeves is truly a revolutionary. And after my nephew was killed, Mel just found me in a crowd. And he said, sis, I need to talk to you. He just broke down the whole system. He said, this is how it works. Da, 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 da. I said, okay, I'm ready to ride. Let's do it. So I just thank Mel for always sharing his knowledge, having youth groups that he teaches and instructs, his writing, his journalism, incredible. So Mel Reeves is going to close us out. He's put in the work, he's got the background, and I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say.
That's right, give yourselves a hand. Because you could have been doing something else. In fact, I'd rather everybody have been doing something else. But because we live in a dirty, rotten, low-down system, we got to come out here and fight in the streets for what's right. And don't look at me funny when I call it a low-down, dirty, rotten system, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't be here right now. If it wasn't, George Floyd would be standing right next to me, right? So somebody asked me if I was all right. As if to say, and they know I'm out in the protest, we around organizing, so anytime I'm in a protest, I'm all right. Are you all right? Yeah, when you at the protest, let me tell you something, you all right. Don't let them fool you, because we had a little uprising, right? This is the safest place to be. So they asked me if I'm all right. I go, I wasn't all right before. You shouldn't be all right. The problem is this system, not the protest. Now I ain't scared of people protesting. I'm scared of the folks that had us out here. They got us out here protesting. I used to, when I was a little younger, I didn't have to use this at all. But now I forget a few things because I don't want to make no mistakes. But somebody also asked me, so what y'all gonna do without the police? I said, live. Imagine that. What are we going to do without the police? Hell, we all have a chance to breathe. Without the police, Brother George will still be here. In fact, say his name, George Floyd. Say his name. Say his name. Yeah, so I want y'all to know, I ain't going to be long because I know y'all heard a lot of great speakers. Speaking of, let's give the organizers a big hand. So I got a little bad news for some of y'all. You out here now, right? But you can't go back. That's right. That's right. You can't go back. You've seen what you've seen. And that's the thing they try to trick you with, right? In fact, if George's death hadn't been so blatant, they'd be all over the news media telling me, well, that's not quite what you saw. That pig that lives over there, I can't call him a pig, that would be bad mouthing the pig. That animal that stands over there, sits in that office, in this office here, Michelle knows what I'm talking about. He comes out here and he looks like one of us and he smiles like one of us, he talks like one of us, but he ain't one of us. I don't know what the hell he is, but he ain't no human being. And I'm gonna talk about him because every time they kill one of people, somebody who looks like me, he always comes up with a way to let them off the hook. So I ain't got no love for him. And I'm one of them people, I don't love my enemies. I love my friend. You clap to that because it's a waste of time loving your enemies. You can get somewhere loving your friends. But I want you to know you can't go back, y'all. What you see is what you saw. That's right. You saw George get killed brutally. You can't go back. You see what this system is like. You know it. What they're counting on now, they're counting on you going back and pretending you didn't see, you haven't seen what you saw. You saw how they treated our mothers and fathers and relatives in this pandemic, right? They called them essential workers and they wouldn't even give them masks. You saw it, right? They made them work in places where people were sick and they knew they were sick. You saw it. They weren't even decent enough to give the people on the front line, the nurses taking care of us, they weren't even decent enough to give them personal protection equipment. Now, am I making it up? No, I'm telling nothing but the truth. So if you see a system that can't protect you, to shoot you down in the street, beats up on you when you go to work, they give you a little bit for all you put in, they can't give you health care, right? They spend your money on everything but you. Right? They gives you two parties, and one party is got enough guts to tell black people that you ain't got no choice to vote for them, but they ain't offering you nothing. You got to say to yourself, we got to try something else. You can't go back. You can't go back. You can't go back. We don't want to go back to the same old police state, the same old police state. We don't want to go back to the same old kind of health care, same kind of education, right? We want to go to a society. I passed somebody in my neighborhood sleeping in the street in the middle of the day. We can't go back to that kind of society, y'all. Somebody said it. We're on the eve of a revolution. So it might take a little while, and I'm almost done. It might take a little while, but people who looked like me at one time were enslaved. Now, we still kind of enslaved, but we were enslaved. Remember, we were in chains, right? We ain't in chains now. Somebody, you ain't got no chains on your ankle now, do you? Because people fought, and there was a semi-revolution, right? We ain't enslaved no more, right? At one point, women couldn't vote, right? Women can vote. They fought. They took to the street, and they fought, and they can vote now, right? And in South Africa, there was a system called apartheid. And they fought, and apartheid don't exist no more. You can clap to that. And after we got out of slavery, they tried to re-enslave us, gave us something called Jim Crow segregation. Now, it's still bad, no doubt about it, but it ain't as bad as it was, is it? We ain't in Jim Crow segregation no more, are we? Okay. There was a time when my gay friends weren't treated with respect, right? Folks couldn't get married. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the LGBT community, right? Now they can get married. Now they're treated with a little more respect, right? And you know why it is, right? Because they fought. Because they fought. Don't let nobody tell you, don't leave here and people say, you went to the protest? That ain't gonna do nothing. Because you know what? They're a damn lie. I can prove that they're wrong. Right? They killed George, and they said, we ain't going to punish the officers, and we went to the street. Right? Then they started stuttering. Well, maybe. We went to the street again. They gave us one officer, didn't they? We said that ain't enough. We went to the street, they gave us one. All four, right? That's right. And if we stay in the street, we'll make sure every one of them dogs, every one of them low-down dirty pigs goes and gets what they deserve. Because we sure as hell would have been in jail by now, right? We sure as hell, they done marched us out. One of them got out of jail. I don't know how he got out. They wouldn't even gave us bond. They wouldn't even set a $2 million bond. So I'm done here, but I want to remind y'all of something. Every struggle in the history of the world, everybody that struggled, eventually they've won. Malcolm X used to say, if you stay in the street long enough, and if you fight for what you want long enough, if you're determined long enough, guess what? You'll win. Now, if you believe you're winning, we'll make some noise. See, because they already trying to tell us we ain't going to win. And you know the other thing they got going for them, right? Watch out, y'all. Watch out. Now, if you're here to get paid, you're in the right place, because that's what they're trying to do now. They're going to pull out their money. right? People who didn't have no money before, all money's coming from everywhere. The Polad Foundation, talking about giving $20 million, right? They're not giving no money so we can make no revolution. They've been giving that money so you cannot make a revolution. They keep you from making a revolution. Oh, watch it. There's going to be money flowing, y'all. Don't get tricked. Take the money and protest too. How about that? They say, hey, you want some money? Because we figure we want a job, want a good job. Hell yeah, give me that job. And I'm going to the protest too. You know, hey, you want a few $100, a few $1,000, give it to me. And I'm going to the protest too. Because your system is rotten. So anyway, I always ask every time I get up, how long are we going to fight? And you know what you're supposed to say. How long? How long? Oh, I can't hear you. How long? How long? How long? How long? How long? All right, let's get ready to march, y'all.
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. We will win. Couple of things, and we're going to hit the streets, y'all. You got your marching feet ready for you?
Oh, yeah!
Ready to take the streets and let them know what it is? So a really neat group of people in Richfield and in other areas, and now it's become national, are going out to their roofs, their rooftops, or out their front porches every night at 8 p.m., and they're screaming at the top of their lungs, Black Lives Matter! Join them. It's a wonderful way to connect with your neighbors around the way we need to be thinking about things right now. So encourage you to get involved in that. Encourage you to get involved with all the organizations that are out here. You know, of course I love my organization, but I recognize that everybody that's out here doing this work deserves your support. So don't just come to a protest. Don't just go on a march. Get busy afterwards to make the changes that we demand. Get involved. We're going to take the streets down on 5th. Right where the light rail is, so if you'll move yourselves in that direction, we got a nice little march for you. I believe that we will win. 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 Let's march.
So again, we're here in Minneapolis. See the light rail, we're at the government center. This building in the distance with the green awning is the city hall and the old jail. Back up here, back up there, that's the old jail. It's called being under the clock back in the day. Right behind us, where we're standing on, is the government center where court is. Court is on one side, administration is on the other. In the distance back here is the new jail. It's all barricaded actually. We'll walk out and show you all that before the march gets going. Again, thank you all for joining. We're here in downtown Minneapolis. It's a march for justice for George Floyd. We heard from families of loved ones affected and killed by police. Do you have any water?
You live stream. So what could I give you my information and you text me like what you need for live streaming? Because I'm working with Skyway and the Garage. They want to do protest and benefit concerts, but because of the 50% capacity limit.
Okay, yeah. Shoot me an email. Here's the card. Shoot me an email and then put my name in the subject line. How you doing? Would either of you be interested or willing to speak on live streaming right now? Okay, very cool. Hey, respect. Watch out, hooping and all the baby. Same love to you and family. We got here Charles Oakley on the left, Al Harrington on the right, and then the Steven Jackson spoke earlier. Steven Jackson, the ex-NBA player.
Right here. This gentleman right here.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm Nico. Yeah. You feel like talking right now?
Yeah, you can. I can answer
All
a
right,
few
cool.
questions, or you want me to just?
Yeah. So I'm live right now. If you're cool with, hey, you can just talk, and then I'll ask you a couple questions.
All right.
I know that. Are you on the march? Are you gonna go on the march?
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the march.
Okay, cool. We can walk if you want to.
Well, I'm gonna wait for with my guys all right here.
Okay, word.
So
yeah,
you can actually follow me over here.
Yep. So what does this mean to you? There's about 1,000 people out here for George Floyd, and you can say who you are if you want.
Yeah, I'm Tyler Daniel. I'm part of the 10K Foundation. You know, this means a lot to me because, you know, enough is enough. There's too many people getting killed. Too many of our young children, you know, people that have futures ahead of them are getting snatched. Their futures are getting snatched away, right? You know, right from under them. You know, people that have ambitions and dreams, and the time of accountability is now. You know, and that's just what I'm really trying to push, is that the time for accountability is now. People need to start being accountable for all the stuff that's happening. And that goes from inside the community all the way out to these officers, to everyone. Everybody's pointing the fingers. We need to talk about accountability. Right?
What does that look like to you?
What that looks like to me is when you take these, you notice in the city you'll see all these Black Lives Matter signs and no peace, no justice. But as soon as you start getting to the suburbs, to the outskirts, you stop seeing those signs. So they're not taking accountability for the stuff that's going on. They're not recognizing the systemic, institutionalized racism that's going on for generations to generations. In a nutshell, just go watch the documentary 13th, and that explains it all. I'm out here marching with my brothers Royce Wright, Steven Jackson, Charles Oakley. They're all here on the front lines right now. And it's like people are just sick and tired of it. Enough is enough. It's time to really start admitting the obvious truth, the divide between the community and the police, and try to figure out a way to solve this. It's the obvious truth. There's no denying it. I mean, the guy was killed cold blood on TV, on video. So the question I ask is, how many people were there no cameras around? And the only narration was from a racist individual. Those are the questions that we start needing to ask. How many people are in the grave right now that had no cameras? You know? And we can't deny the obvious truth. People wanted to talk about crime in the cities and crime in this country. This is a fact. It takes a community working with the police to solve crime. When there's a divide between the community and the police and there's no trust, to me, that is a breeding ground for crime. When the community does not trust the police and there's a divide and there's no connection, that is a breeding ground for crime. When you have a community that trusts the police and a police that cares about the community and they work hand in hand, you can solve way more crime on a much higher level. And you can institute proper justice. You won't send innocent people to jail. You'll have the real stories. And right now, we're seeing a divide with the community, so we have to solve something. It's obvious that the old system, the current system, is not working. The current system, the community doesn't trust them. You have a system, you know, everybody says, well, all cops are not bad cops. That's true, all cops are not bad cops. But how can you detect the good ones from the bad, right? If I told you, here goes a loaf of bread, and has a bunch of mold on it, just cut out the mold. Would you cut out the mold and just eat that same piece of bread? Or would you get a new piece of bread, right? I don't know about you guys, but I would like a new piece of bread. So that's what this is about. It's not about saying that the police, I mean, that we're trying to get rid of the policing system, or the police in general. I mean, we understand that there needs to be policing. The question is, who's doing the policing? The question is it fair policing? And does it serve justice? Right now, the answer to all those questions is no. The current system does not serve justice, it's not fair policing, and it doesn't provide unity in the community. Right? We should have a community where kids are talking about becoming police officers because they've had good experience with police officers. Instead, we're having a community where young kids are told to fear the police officer. Something has to be done, and we're tired of it. And we're absolutely tired of it. And that's why you're going to see these marches all the time until something changes. And that's just where I stand on it. So people will talk about the looting and the rioting and all that kind of stuff. The only answer I have for that is that's a byproduct of injustice. And it's been like that for centuries, since the beginning of time. Where you see injustice, you're always going to see violence. Where you see injustice, you're always going to see calamity. And you're always going to see chaos. That's just how it goes. That's why justice needs to be served. And that's why the community and the people are in those communities need to start asking the questions of accountability, answering the questions of who's accountable and accountability. You got to start, that 13th said it the best. There was a white guy on that video that said, I'm a product, it's a white guy now, right? He said, I'm a product of ancestors who had choices. The black man is a product of ancestors who did not have choice in this country, right? The generational injustices continuing to go and go is breeding all this kind of stuff. You can't teach kids are not born racist. Individuals are not just born racist, they're taught that. And they're taught that by the very same individuals who are not taking accountability for their actions. You being silent, sitting in your homes, not putting a sign up, is perpetuating the injustices. You have to stand for this country. It doesn't matter if it's not happening in your neighborhoods. Because injustices, no matter your socioeconomic status, infects us all as a whole. So if you care about your children and what type of world they're going to grow up in, you definitely should care about the children that are now. And that's just where I stand with it, man.
Thank you for all that. Anything else you'd want to say?
With 10K Foundation, we're doing a march this Saturday. Meet at the U.S. Bank. You know who we are, 10K Foundation. We're the ones that have the marches on the Hennepin Bridge and the 35W Bridge and that whole incident and whatnot. But we're not doing it. We're doing no freeways this time. We've had all of our protests has been peaceful. That's kind of what we're spreading, is showing the world that here in Minneapolis we can have peaceful protests. People are just frustrated, and we're not going to stop. So yeah, this Saturday, if you want more details, go to 10kfoundation.org. 10kfoundation.org.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna catch up with my brothers up there. You can catch up with them. Nico, nice to meet you. Tayo.
Nice to meet you. Hey, appreciate you. We just heard from Tayo from 10K. Catch up to this march, pretty big. Got a lot of NLG out here, National Lawyers Guild, watching out for the protesters, for the crowd. A lot of these windows are all boarded up still. Some of them were even freshly boarded, as they knew there was a protest going on. Yeah, Bert. All right. You can announce who you are. Basically, what brings you out here? There's like 1,000 people out here right now. What does this feel like?
Yeah, anytime Minnesota comes out for the right reasons, it feels great for me. I'm here to support my brother, and we came for what we came for. We came for justice, and we're not gonna leave until we get it. So,
are you perhaps an ex-NBA player as well, Mr. Royce O'Neal?
I'm a free man.
Free man. All right. So yeah. That's what you want to talk about. Just basically how this murder of George Floyd by the Minneapolis police rang alarm throughout the world.
The state's been out of control for a long time, and there's a war coming between the free people of America and the United States. And you know, George Floyd was a byproduct of it, and we won't stand for it.
When it comes to George Floyd, what does justice look like to you?
Justice looks like the free people of America taking back their sovereignty, forcing the state to give in some of its power. Right? Right now they have a monopoly on violence. That needs to change in order for George Floyd to have any resemblance of justice in this situation. It's not just about him. It's how do we prevent this from continuing to happen. Right now the state has a monopoly on violence. They get to say how much force you can use, who can use it, where they can use it. That has to change.
Yeah, how does that change?
I think people need to take back their own communities. I think people need to prove to the state and to themselves that they can govern themselves, they can police themselves, and that's what marches like this do.
Anything else you want to say?
Free people of America versus the United States. That's the new dynamic. The new dynamic is that the free people of America need to become their own entity. They need to stop relying on the state to give them access to the American dream.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We heard from ex-NBA player right there, Royce White, who's I think from Minneapolis area. So we got quite a few NBA players out here. Some of them with the 10K Foundation. We got Steven Jackson right here on the left of us. Thank you. So right there in the distance is First Precinct in Minneapolis. That's been quite fortified earlier this last week. I'm not sure if it still is. It looks like the crowd is going on the other side. Trying to walk a little bit more fast to catch up to where the crowd is headed. Again, we're here live in Minneapolis. I think we're walking down 5th Street right now. There's about 1,000 people out here. Justice for George Floyd rally that's turned into a march. Hope the audio is better. Check, check. Apologies for any audio difficulties. state is reopened. A whole bunch of people out here kicking it. Minnesota had been on a stay-at-home order for a long time from the coronavirus pandemic. Looks like the police precinct is still a little bit fortified. And that's where everybody's stopping. One officer back there. I mean, this is heavily fortified, you see. This is the front of the first precinct here in downtown Minneapolis. Thousands of them surrounding it.
These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These killer cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go.
Again, here's the first precinct, heavily fortified.
These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. Shut it down. 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 Shut all this shit down.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
Hell no! It's the power of people because the power of people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of people because the power of people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of people because the power of people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of people because the power of people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of people because the power of people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of people because the power of people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of people because the power of people don't stop. Fuck 12. Ain't no power like the power of people because the power of people don't stop. Fuck 12. Ain't no power like the power of people because the power of people don't stop. Fuck 12. Ain't no power like the power of people because the power of people don't stop. Fuck 12. Ain't no power like the power of people because the power of people don't stop.
front of the police station because this woman don't hold back. Kim Eddie Jones.
If you want to know more about Kim, we have a lot of specials on her son Cordell and the community she's been building with mothers.
Good evening.
Good evening.
There is no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people really don't stop. But this is the type of power we need to see all the time. We need to see all of you by the masses. One pair of boots is worth $1 million. You come as one, but you will stand as 10,000. Fuck 12. Now, George Floyd said he couldn't breathe. You all are not breathing, we taking breaths. Because at any moment, the police can end our life. You need to understand that. I have no respect for people, or they're inhumane. They ain't fucking people, they're inhumane. Let's just call it what the fuck it is. They're inhumane. Only an animal would do a person like that. Kneel on their neck while they handcuffed. A coward-ass animal. They fucking cowards. And that, not only that, they're starting to do it in broad daylight. They don't give a fuck. They have no regard for human life. And if you think your life can't be sniped, you got it all wrong. Then they want to convince us about what the fuck our eyes seen. I know what my eyes seen. I'm too old of a cat to be fooled by a motherfucking damn kitten. Darren Sharvin choked George Floyd by kneeling on his knee. He suffocated the man. And everybody want to talk about everybody's hollering George Floyd's name. George Floyd is the face of thousands that have gone before him. That's right. He's the straw that broke the camel's back. We were all in a pressure cooker. I myself, with my son Cordell Handy, Monique Cullis Doty, from Marcus Golden, Justin Tigan, Isaac Aiden, Boomy Lee, Phil Quinn, Hardell Sherrill, Jaffrey Smith. Should I go on? Because the list goes on. Now I'm here to tell you, you all need to keep your boots on the ground. Don't fucking damn play with them. Put them motherfuckers on and lace the fuck up. Your boots ain't made for just sitting at home talking. They was made for walking. And I won't stop. I cannot stop until we all are able to breathe. I can't breathe. When is the next one gonna say, I can't breathe? Are we waiting for the next one to say that? No. Let me tell you something. I got justice burning in my head. I got it burning in my heart. I got it burning in my bed. I can't fucking rest till I get what the fuck our people need. And that's justice by any means necessary. This state alone is responsible for thousands of deaths. That's right. But you know who I hold accountable? I hold you, the people, accountable. Because this what I see today, we should have been doing. We should have been doing. This shit didn't start today, it started 400 years ago. Let's be clear. And I need your white power, your white fight, I need your white bodies on this motherfucking damn line. I need you out there. I don't give a fuck what your fight look like, but fight. And for the people who have lost loved ones, I got to say this. Your child's name is not erased. It's not erased. I see, when I look at George Floyd, I see all our kids. But that was sightseeing. His murder was sightseeing. Can you imagine what happens when the cameras are not rolling, when people are not videoing? Can you imagine? I don't know about you all, but I'ma fight. Ain't no motherfucker gonna stop me from this. Cause see, you know what? Them motherfuckers called for me when they killed my son. They called for me, and now the fuck I'm here. Now let me tell you, I said it once, I'm gonna say it again. You can roll with us, or we gonna roll right the fuck over you. But either way, we fucking rolling. I ain't here in Minnesota to play no motherfucking damn game. And if anybody, and I said it once again, I'm gonna say it again and again. If you're sensitive about your white privilege, I don't give a fuck. Get the fuck out of my damn way. Because if you can't stand in your sensitivity for one fucking second, what the fuck you think I've been doing for 54 years? You all need to go home and have them uncomfortable conversations with your parents, with your sisters and brothers, with your kids. Start calling their asses to the carpet. Make them be accountable. Because I'm going to tell you something. That conversation starts at home. Because had you been having these conversations, George Floyd wouldn't be dead, now would he? Now let me tell you something I found out just the other day. I found out that George Floyd and my daughter share the same birthday. October 14th. There's always something in relation to whatever goes on in my life. And I was talking to my sister, Nakima Levy Armstrong, and I said to her, a couple of weeks ago, I just kept smelling coffee at 3, 4 in the morning. I ain't brewing no coffee, but I kept smelling coffee. That was God's message to me. I need you to wake up, but I need you to stay woke, Kim. Something is about to transpire. And I need your boots to be ready. I need your body to be willing, but I need it to be able. I'm sitting here, you know what? I'm madder than a motherfucker. I'm not going to even just tell you that it's fine. I'm mad. And you should be mad. Because when I fight, I ain't fighting just for the dead. I'm fighting for the living. All you all got living kids at home that have not lost one to police brutality. And these punk bitch ass motherfucking police running around here pumping bullets in our kids. We can't eat because we black. We can't breathe because we black. We can't joke because we black. We can't do nothing because we black. Well, let me tell you something. My skin ain't my motherfucking sin. This was meant to be. This is the way God created me. It ain't my sin. But I'll tell you what, sin don't live no more. That third fucking precinct. It don't live there no more. Sin don't live there. Sin don't live there. And they want to talk about the burning of the buildings and the looting. Y'all been burning my people over 400 years. Y'all been looting in our homes over 400 years. Y'all been taking, stealing everything a black person has. They have to fight for. That's right. Reach down. But the one thing I'm not going to fight, I'm not going to swing on you all. If you get in my way, your ass will get hit. Just give me your warning. You will get hit. Don't stand in my way.
That's right.
This message is for white people. I want you to go home and I want you to look at your kids. Take a good long look at them and ask yourself, would I be able to live without my child? Would I be able to mentally keep going? No. I want you all to go home and look at your kids. Because see, today that's my truth. But I gotta keep going on. I gotta keep going on for my kids and for my brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers who are out there don't have kids, but I gotta keep going on for yours too. Why am I fighting so hard for your kids, white people, and you're not willing to fight just as hard? Why? Ask yourself that. Give a damn about the color of your kid's skin. They deserve to be here. That's right. They deserve to be here. No child should be dead. They should be able to live out their full potential. But no parent should have to bury their child. Yeah, that's me, Kimberly Handy. Kimberly Handy Jones.
Say that.
That's me, Andre. All day long. But I'm gonna say this. When you get done looking at your children, kiss them. And tell them you love them. Because you don't know when the next time gonna be the last time.
Yes.
You don't know that. You don't know when they might be on the ground and the police is kneeling on their neck saying, Mama. My son called me. He called me. And he said, Mama. A couple of minutes before they killed him. He said the same thing George Floyd said. And you don't think that sticks in my head. You don't think what George Floyd was hollering out, Mama, that didn't bother me tremendously. Tremendously it bothered me. But I want George Floyd to know. Marcus Golden, Cordell Handy, Fumi Lee, Jeffrey Smith, Justin Tigan, Isaac Hayden, Brian Quinones, Michael Kerbalay, Terrence Franklin. I want all the stolen lives to know your mama is here today. Yeah. She's here. And her boots is on the ground. Her boots is on the ground. I thank God every day that I'm able to get out the bed and fight this fight. I'm in it to win it. And if you ain't talking about winning, get the hell out of my way. Get the hell out of my way. Because you can't tell me we will win. You can't tell me we winning and you sitting there, standing there looking defeated.
That's right.
I need you to know you can win. I need you to know that you can fight. I need to know that I'm not fighting for you, but I'm fighting with you. And black people, it's up to you all to make a difference. It's up to you all. It's been up to us to make a difference. Our grandmothers and mothers and foremothers and grandmothers before us, they were paving the way. We're laying the foundation. It used to be locked doors, but I want our grandchildren to be able to walk on through and make themselves comfortable and know that they're at home. I want them to be able to join hands with every race, color, and creed. I want them to be able to breathe. I want them not to be able to just take breaths, but breathe. Breathe. We ain't living, black people, we just existing. This ain't no way to live.
That's right.
You gotta come up out your comfort zone.
Yep.
I'm sitting here, I'm looking at all these black faces, and yeah, I'm mad. I'm mad because had we been doing the work, had we been boots on the ground, so many of our loved ones would have been here. No, but we at home looking at the days of our lives. Well, this is the fucking days of our lives. This is the days of our lives. This is how the world gonna turn if we don't put our boots on the ground. We not only have to speak it into reality, we have to faith it into reality. Keep the faith. Keep the faith, because faith without works, people, is dead.
Yes. Right.
I don't give a fuck how you tell me your boots on the ground. If you ain't putting them motherfuckers on and lacing up, you ain't doing shit. You ain't doing shit.
Right.
White people always say, I hear you, I see you. How the fuck would you like to be me? How would you like to be me? And then us that are all in this fight together, organizations and what have you, We don't need to be swinging on each other. We need to be swinging on the powers that be. I'm not fighting my brothers and sisters. I know what the fuck I'm fighting. I'm not motherfucking confused.
Come on.
To be aware is to be alive. Are you all aware that our children are dying? Yes. Are you all aware that the police are killing our children? Yes. I don't think y'all understand. They done went from pumping bullets into us, piercing our black and brown bodies with bullets, to taking a fucking knee. I don't think you understand. They killing us slowly. You know, bullets are ended real quick, but now they killing us slowly, and they want us to see, and they want the world to watch. And he meant to do what he meant to do. You know you're being recorded, and you still consistently kneeled on George Floyd's neck. Let me tell you something. You know what I want my son, Marcus Golden, and all the stolen lives of George Floyd to know? That when this life is over, I did it my motherfucking way. And I didn't go out without a fight.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
I've always taught my children on down to the younger ones, even the little Isaiah over here. It's not a disaster to have goals and not achieve. The disaster is to have no goals to achieve. Yeah. Boy, you better look to the hills in which cometh your help, and know that your help comes from the Lord, because you can do anything through Christ who strengthens you. Yeah. Anything. Nothing is impossible if you trust in God. Yeah. I've seen him work his miracles before. I've seen him work in others, and I also can see him working in us. Yeah. But again, you got to have faith, because without it, it's dead. Yes. It is dead. Now I'm going to say this, and I'm going to wrap it up, and I won't be long. White folks, I mean that. Go home and look at your children, because I'm missing one. There is a void. There is a void. And let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck how many Benjamins they put before your face after they kill your loved one. I done seen them motherfuckers come and go, come and go, come and go, and come again. But I got a face I'll never see on this side. I have to look to the other side when it's my time to see him. I want you all to go home and look at your kids. I don't give a fuck. Find me on Facebook. Send me a message. Tell me. What was your thought? Because I need to know. And please don't come with no fucked up bullshit, because I'm that girl. I'm that girl. I will get with you quick. I'm not going to play with you. That's right. I'm not going to play with you. I will assassinate you with this motherfucking damn mouthpiece quick. Understand that. It's real crafty. Monique is rushing me off. The microphone police. I love her.
Can you do boots on the ground?
I just want to say, black people, as Nakima Levy Armstrong said, the time is now. Yeah. The time was back then, but it's really now. And we have an opportunity to turn it all around. Let me tell you something. Whatever happened, Memorial Day, it happened. And let me say, this is the time for the floodgates of heaven to open up for us. Now let's get it. Boots! Boots! Boots on the ground. We here to shut the shit down. Boots! Boots! Boots on the ground. We here to shut the shit down. Fuck Will.
That was Kimberly Handy Jones. Her son Cordell Handy was killed by St. Paul police in 2017.
We're here to shut this shit
This is the first precinct.
Boots on the ground. We're here
The march is moving now. This is heavily fortified.
Boots on the ground.
This is concrete with whatever this stuff is, the foam stuff. Nailed in, multiple layers.
We're here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the ground.
No one in that front yard, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I saw one person. But
He's out back.
oh, really?
Bike stops over there. Hennepin.
Do they still have that parking lot all blocked off?
No.
Oh, really? Right, right. That's good to know. Thank you. So again, we're here live in Minneapolis. Maybe 1,000 people are out here. So a few days ago, when the National Guard was here, the police were using this parking lot as an area. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hey, you want to talk it all real quick? So George Floyd, 1,000 people out here right now. 2 weeks later, what's this all mean to you?
We have a duty to fight for our freedom. We have a duty to win. We must love and serve one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We're going to make a difference this time. George Floyd's death is not in vain. It's time for a global change.
Thank you.
Much love.
Yep, yep. You heard it right there. It's time for a global change. So again, we're here live in Minneapolis, 2 weeks after the killing of George Floyd, a little bit over 2 weeks. We spoke to some ex-NBA players a little bit earlier in the stream about their participation in this protest and why they're here. Steven Jackson so he's brothers with George Floyd, and there's a group called 10K that's also bringing together some of the players. Also doing another march, I think this weekend. I think they were the ones who organized the march. They ended up getting having the semi roll through it. The person who did the semi actually didn't get charged. They get away from so it wasn't videoed by somebody, corporate news or something. You see a security back there taking video. You want to talk at all? You can say your name or not. You don't have to. How does this feel to you? It's about 2 weeks after now, George Floyd, but there's still a lot of people in the streets, and there's still people calling for justice.
It's surreal. It's history. We got to do our part. We got to get our boots to the ground and make it happen. It ain't over until it's over. Until then, we got to keep on going.
So the community is calling for defunding the police, disbanding and dismantling the Minneapolis Police Department. There's a bunch of other calls. What is your hope for the future?
My hope for the future is a clean start. We got to dismantle. Got to have a plan put in place and support the cause. Just dismantling without a proper plan, it's not going to get us anywhere. Got to restructure, replan, and stick to the plan.
Word. What is your example of maybe a world without police?
A world without police? That's a tough question. I do believe we do have to have some sort of structure. What it's going to take a community, it's going to take us all to get together and figure it out from now. The plan that they had in place, it didn't work, it hasn't worked, and it's not working now, so we just got to redo the whole structure.
Right. Anything else you'd want to say?
Keep the fight going.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I think I got a crowd for you. My name is Nico. I'm part of Unicorn Riot. Oh shoot, I gave them all up. Nico, Unicorn Riot, and you check out our media. Unicorn Riot.ninja. Yeah, no .com, .ninja. Check it out. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This is live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Awesome. Yeah. What's your name? Billy. Good to meet you. I'm Nico. Good to meet you. I'm Nico. Would either of you all want to talk? Yeah? All right, sweet. You can say your name or not, and what does this feel like to you right now?
Right now, it feels like power. It feels like everyone's coming together as we always should have been. Just growing up in Minneapolis and knowing that it has been divided for so many years, and everyone understanding that this 400 years of pain that we've been feeling is real, and a lot of people are noticing it, and a lot of people have noticed it for a while, but we're gaining not just allies, we're gaining accomplices. And I say accomplices because they're right here in this fight with us day and night. They're working in the field, they're working over here in the food shelves, they're doing everything that we all are doing, and that's what it's going to take to make a change in this world.
Yeah, you have two things that I want to question. You brought up generational trauma. You talk about that, just like how it's impacting you right now.
Yeah, generational trauma is real. ACEs is real. We all experience adverse childhood experiences that build up to these moments. And so me living through these last couple of days where there were riots and there were white supremacists invading my city, but seeing the city coming together and protecting our neighborhoods that we worked so hard to build, that pumped my heart. That made me get out here and continue to fight this fight each and every day, whether it's volunteering or it's protesting. It continues to let me know that we're not here alone, and that with everybody coming together, a change will happen. This time is different, and I want everybody to know that this time is different, and we're going to get results.
And you brought up also the mutual aid that's been shown from all community members on the north and the south side. Can you talk about what you've seen?
Absolutely. I know that our churches have band together, and they came together not only for food resources, but financial resources, mental health resources. So a big shout out to all of our churches on the south and north side, especially my church, New Salem Missionary Baptist Church. And so we've been definitely putting our work into our community for a long time, but right now we're really showing up where it really counts. So I like all the organizations that's coming through, especially the nonprofits, the for-profits, the corporations. Everyone is taking cheap effort and everyone is giving in.
Thank you. We've heard people talking about dismantling the police department. Sort of the same question I just asked a little bit ago. What's your idea of a police-free future?
I don't think we should have a police-free future, but I definitely think that funding should be looked at because our kids are losing in education right now. And if funding can be provided for other avenues, I think that it will start at a lower level, so then when we are becoming adults, that we have that support that we need. And so if we're continuing to fund riot gear and not school books, then this is the results that you're going to get. So you can't be surprised at the results if you're not funding education. Education is big and it's key.
Anything else you want to say?
No, fight the power.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the time. Thank you. Heard from another community member. Thank you for your thoughts. Heard from a couple community members. The march is still going, about 1,000 strong, maybe a little bit more than that. It's headed back up to the government center. You see sort of this is the seat of power here in Minneapolis. On the left side, coming into focus, is the federal building. On the right side, it's the city hall. Behind the city hall, you can sort of see the new jail, and then the blue awning you see is the U.S. Bank Stadium. Again, people are out here for George Floyd. Thank you. I'm Nico. Good to meet you, Lord. Thank you. Nice. Thank you. All right. I mean, you can still watch it even if you were there. I'm just joking. So again, thank you all. Huh? Huh?
Can I get a picture of you?
Yeah. Yeah, good to see you. Good to meet you. So again, if you want to know more information about George Floyd, go to our website, unicornriot.ninja. Follow our Twitter, UR_ninja. Follow our Instagram, unicorn.riot. Go to our website, unicornriot.ninja. We're on Vimeo and YouTube as well. All of our media is Creative Commons licensed, Creative Commons and non-commercial share alike. We are a 501c3 educational nonprofit dedicated to bringing the context of social and environmental struggles, as well as spotlighting alternatives, bringing the voice of the community. And we are a worker-run, horizontally organized. We don't have bosses telling us what to cover or how to cover it. We work together to create that. So again, what you witnessed here was 1,000 or so people. The Government Center, now lapping back into the Government Center area. There's been consistent actions against Bob Kroll, the Police Federation Union president. We heard yesterday, day before, yesterday that Chief Arredondo made a statement yesterday in response to the defund police movement that's sort of been happening, saying that he will not leave Minneapolis behind until that there's a comprehensive plan for safety-led initiatives. We just tried to get an interview with one of the council members. They said they want to stay back and follow folks. Again, there was 9 city council members. They're saying Breonna Taylor right now. So this last weekend, police abolition hit a fever pitch. Basically, 9 city council members vowed to dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. Whether that promise will come to fruition, time will tell.
What we've done here on your social media, because we need the world to know that we are still out here. Minnesota is still standing. Minnesota is still fighting.
I tried to put money in your car, but I didn't know which one to do. Oh, thanks, man. I'm headed for a couple hours of it. Okay, appreciate you, man.
I'll try to put on there, but I forgot.
That's cool, thanks.
I seen you coming out the car, but I didn't know which one was left.
Right.
Repeat after me. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. It is our duty to win. We must love and protect one another. We must love and protect one another. We have nothing to lose but our shame. We have nothing to lose but our shame. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. It is our duty to win. We must love and protect
When you're living on your knees, you rise up. Tell your brother that he's gotta rise up. Tell your sister that she's gotta rise up. When are these colonies gonna rise up? When are these colonies gonna rise up? When are these colonies gonna rise up? Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up.
Again, so this last weekend, the city council members vowed to dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. Again, whether that will happen to come to fruition, we'll see. Immediately, they sort of said it's going to be a year-long process.
Screaming, fuck the institution. Shout out to my crew and start a revolution. Screaming, fuck the institution.
What we're going to continue to see here in Minneapolis is the continual push and the continual try to hold city council members and other politicians accountable to that promise and to that vow. What he's saying is true. There's every day there's actions here in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Tomorrow, I think there's an action over at Bob Kroll office at the Police Federation. Again, AFL-CIO and Educate Minnesota are the two biggest unions in Minnesota. They've all called for Bob Kroll to resign, as well as a ton of other people. There's been a lot of defunding or decontracting of the Minneapolis Police Department already within the first few days. The University of Minnesota, Minneapolis Public Schools, and Minneapolis Parks Department, they all stopped their contract with the Minneapolis Police. So SROs are out of schools now in the future. What replaces them, we have not seen. A lot of people are hopeful for more psychologists and more mental health money and more counselors inside the schools. When it comes to the streets, people are upset because Thomas Lane, I believe, one of the police officers, is actually freed on bond. He was bailed out, I think, today or yesterday, after only a few days in jail. Again, the jail is up here. Right there. So, again, this is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We'll try to grab an interview real quick, and then we'll bring the stream down in a short bit. And thank you all for joining. This was a rally for justice for George Floyd and to demand real change now. People are hoping for the change to happen ASAP. Hey, how you doing? Hey, would you be down to do an interview? Yeah, I do want to. Sweet. So I was just bringing up to the audience. SROs are outside of schools now. They're taken out. Would you be down to speak about what could replace them in schools?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. You can say who you are too if you want.
My name is Marquise Armstrong, part of the Racial Justice Network, also a mental health practitioner, owner of Hope and Healing Counseling Services. So SROs are out. Good. They need to be out. I worked for Minneapolis Public Schools for about 20 years in many different capacities, right? And I had several incidents where SROs were involved. One of the incidents that I saw was an SRO with a young lady who I worked with. Yes, she was having an episode, but what I saw happen to her was a full-grown man slam her to the ground and put his knee in her back. And I told him I had the situation under control. You did not need to do that. Another incident, I was working with a classroom of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And again, an SRO got called in and did a similar thing. I had to tell him to get off of him and allow me, who knows the students, to calm him down, and I was able to do that. So what could we replace them with? Individuals like myself, right, who know the community, who love the community, who the students have a level of respect for, right? I had great relationships with my students and their parents. I also had great relationships with the social workers, the vice principals and principals of the schools, and they listened to me and they understood me. And so what can we replace them with? Community members. I know individuals who have training in how to de-escalate situations, right? And so having people who have that training and that skill and a love of our children, a love of our community, and not people who are a part of an occupying force, a part of a system that has continued to oppress us. They will never be able to gain the respect of our students. So what can we replace them with? Us. We are who we've been waiting for, y'all. Not just me. When I say we, I'm not saying me. I'm saying us as a community. So brothers, I need you to do something for me. I need you to begin to heal yourself, to balance yourself out spiritually, mentally, and physically, so that when you show up in the school, when you show up in your home, when you show up in the community, you show up in a healthy way, and you set a positive example for all of those who are watching you. Because trust me, our youth, our women, and those outside of our community are watching us. So let's get it together, brothers. Join me in this. We are the ones we've been looking for. We can make the change that we're looking for and that we need. I love y'all.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. Can I ask you one more question real quick? Thank you. So it's getting time to where fever pitch of dismantling the police happened. The council members said that they're going to work on getting rid of the police. But then we saw Arredondo come out right away like, I'm not leaving you all. Like, this still is a huge process. What is your example, or what is your thoughts on what's happening with the abolition of the police or just defunding the police?
So it is.
I'm profusely sorry. I didn't mean to yell.
It is so confusing to me to hear the city council say that they are going to abolish the police, because we've been out here for 5 years in their faces, in their meetings, giving them policy suggestions, urging them, begging them, shutting things down so that they can begin to make some policy changes to rein in this motorist police department. And you know what they said? There's nothing that we could do. Now is not the time. And now all of a sudden, you go from not being able to do nothing to being able to dismantle the police without a plan, without any explanation of that. When we have our first African-American chief of police, when we had all those other 150 years of police chiefs, I never heard the city council talk about dismantling the police. And believe you me, black men and women were being killed during that time as well by the murderous police. So for me, it is an insult. It is gaslighting. None of them came to us. Now, when I say us, I ain't talking about me. I'm talking about community members. I'm talking about community leaders. I've talked to them. We asked, did any of them come and talk to y'all before they decided that they were going to go all in the public and say this thing that they're going to dismantle the police? Look, stop politically grandstanding. Stop trying to win over, some votes because you know that you're going to have to be elected again. And we see y'all. We coming for them seats. We told y'all then. If you don't do what it is that the people need, we coming for y'all. We coming for them seats. Understand that. The power of the people is where the power is at. So look, we coming for them seats. Cut it out. Stop playing these games with us. We ain't playing no more. Period.
Any last words?
I love my community. I love you, brother, for continuing to do what it is that you do. I appreciate you, and I appreciate every single person that is showing up, that is showing out, that has got their boots on the ground, that are typing, that are calling them elected officials, that are doing what they can do to affect change in our city and in our nation. I love y'all. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, my brother.
I wasn't trying to yell.
McDonald, if you could go all through it.
Did any of y'all want to speak at all? No? So I don't think we've gotten your perspective from the whole incident. You can talk about really whatever you want or how you're feeling right now coming after 1,000 people or so just marched. And you can say your name if you want or not.
Hi everybody, my name is Nailev. That's all I'm going to say for my first name. I've been out here almost every day protesting, only taking a few days off due to a knee injury. So what I feel after days of protesting and rioting, I still feel numb a little bit. It's kind of hard to describe what I feel right now. I feel a little bit all over the place, to be honest. So it's like overwhelmed, happy, sad, mad that this happened here in our city. I was recently watching a Netflix show called LA 1992, and one of the reporters on that show basically said in the near future, something like this was going to happen again. And so I kind of reflected on that and just thought about how everything unfolded here in Minneapolis and St. Paul, like how it kind of surpassed the 1992 LA riots, basically, and history repeated itself. And I hope change come about this. It needs to happen.
Yeah, so that's almost 30 years ago, and like you said, I've heard a lot of the same similarities, and that nothing has changed. What do you hope? Do you hope that there's? Well, obviously, I think I heard you said you hope that some change happens. Yeah. What is your idea of how that change can happen?
Police reform, or even dismantling the police here in Minneapolis and St. Paul. I heard that could be an ideal that could be passed around. I know Mayor Fry is not too keen to that, and I know Mayor Melvin Carter is also not keen to that as well. So maybe a hardcore police reform here in both Minneapolis, St. Paul area.
So what does that look like to you, to where the community can feel more safe with accountability from the police?
Have more police that's from the community instead of outside of the community. We saw where Derek has lived at. He lived over in Oakdale. He does not live here in Minneapolis. But the media is trying to portray where he lives at. So we all know that he lives in Oakdale. So we need more policing that is from the city, that knows what the city is like, and that knows how to handle crime and everything like that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. When it comes to the 4 officers, do you have faith that they will all be convicted?
I'm 50-50 right now, because we already know one of them is out on bail. We already know that. One of them is already out on bail. The other 3 are still in jail. And we know that white supremacists and KKK member groups are setting up GoFundMes for these officers so they can get out of jail and go into hiding, basically. We've seen this happen with Philando Castiel's killer, and we've seen this happen in prior killings of unarmed African-American males and women in this country. So I don't have much faith.
Well, thank you for that. Is there anything else you'd want to say in regards to anything?
Yeah, so when the 1992 riots in LA happened, I was here in St. Paul. I was 7 years old. 27 years later, the Minneapolis-St. Paul riots. Let's make a change. Let's make this happen. Let's keep this going. I want to say thank you to every single person that is out here protesting in all 50 states, in all 13 countries that's joined in with us. So thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Thanks for your time. Yeah. All right. You want to talk it out? Can I film you? I'm streaming right now. This is what? 5 seconds. This is Kimberly Andy Jones.
Okay, Nico. I'm ready.
So you just came back again. This is how many times you've come back since George Floyd's death?
3.
3 times from Chicago. You brought up how your son, Cordell Handy, was killed by the St. Paul police, and how he also called you right before it happened and said, "Mama." And you talked about that in front of the 1st Precinct, which is amazingly barricaded. What can you just describe what was going through your mind during that, and emotionally what you were feeling?
When a grown man says "mama," he's fearing for his life. Something tragic is happening. You know, one thing about men, they don't get that grown and decide to call mama. Usually they like handling their own things like grown men do, you know, grown men style. That's what it is. And mama is the last one they want to worry. You know, so when you think of a grown man calling mama, you know, that within itself has to be a death sentence. It has to be. Because that's just, and I don't care what race, color, or creed you is, that to me is just a man code. That means man down, pretty much. I need help. I'm fearing for my life. I'm at death's door. That's what it means to me.
Can you talk about basically what did you watch the video when he was saying "mama"? How did that correlate also with your son and the emotions you felt from that? I know you just sort of touched on it, but like a little bit further, if you can.
Yeah, when he said mama, I dropped the phone. I dropped the phone because it played back over in my head, and it put me back to March 15, 2017 when my son called and said mama to me. And it just to me, it just resonated. That was the end. It was the end. And when he said, I didn't even watch the whole video. When he said mom, I knew that was death for him, because I've heard that before from my son's very own voice. So I knew this is it. This is the end of the road. This is where it all stops. It's traumatizing. 46-year-old man, a 29-year-old man hollering mama. Usually, when it's that intense, and even if we didn't see the video, I would have known that Derek Chauvin was doing something to George Floyd that he had no business doing, because grown men don't holler mama in that way, unless of course it is tragic, unless of course they trying to be saved and they want mama to save them. When you're little boys you do that, but when you get to be grown men, it's different. It's different. Mama is a sound of joy in most men's heart. But that was, it was intense. It was deadly, like, come save me. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I know it's tough. Can you talk about, just real quick, and I'll let you get going, the grieving community of mothers, aunts, sisters, brothers, fathers, family members, and friends? They are growing by the day. You have been doing a lot of work to try to build community within that stolen lives community. Can you just briefly talk about that and why it's important that you all are pushing out and looking out for each other and building community?
Well, because so many women and men, mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, family members, they feel like they're fighting alone and they're grieving alone. And we want them to know that, you know what, we're here and we will stand with you. And so many of them are mute because they don't have a voice. Tragedy brings about a whole lot of different things. It can make one paralyzed. It can make one mute. It can make one not even want to wake up tomorrow. So we just want to bridge that gap, and we want to be the one to mend the fences with these mothers and fathers and loved ones, because we all grieve in different ways. My grievance is I'm purposed. I like to be able to give. I like to be able to reach out and help, and I like to be able to keep my boots on the ground. That's how I give, to stand with different mothers and fathers and to go and meet people in different states, because we all are family by our tragedies. And I personally, I don't want anyone left behind. I don't. And sometimes it just takes saying, hey, I know you're hurting. I know you feel like there's no help. But if there's tomorrow, there is some help. And there's people that are willing to grab you by your hand and say, hey, sister, brother, I love you. I love you. I know your pain. I feel your pain. It's one thing to say it, but it's another thing when you know it. So I not only talk the talk, but I walk the walk with these mothers that have lost children to police brutality, to community violence. So I know it. And it's not something that I'm just speaking out of just because I know how I would feel if it happened to me. I'm speaking out of my own tragedy, out of my own experience, out of my own loss, out of my own grief. And I just feel like we all need to come together and on a common ground. And we all need to stand together. And we don't need to be fighting and swinging. Our fight is not with each other. But sometimes we get so lost up in the fight till we get to swinging and we swinging on each other. We don't need to be doing that. I'm not in fighting. I won't in fight with mothers or fathers. What I will do is walk away. Because sometimes we are hurting, and we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. Sometimes we get to hurting and we hurt other people. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. So I just, I want God to allow my heart to be open, to allow me to be an open vessel, to use me for whatever mothers or fathers or just the people need. I want to be able to help the community. I want to be able to put a smile on their face, even if it isn't but for 1 second. Because when one of us cry, we all cry. When one of us lose, we all lose. You think about the children that have been killed by police and community violence, it always brings you back. But you feel like it's your kid. Anybody with any humanity feels like they've lost a kid. George Floyd, we lost a brother. He's old enough to be my brother. And to hear him say, Mama. Well, Mama's here today. A whole lot of mamas are here today. And that's why I asked the white people, go home and look at your kids. Look at them and ask yourself, could you live without your child? Physically, mentally, could you be without them? Because this is the truth that me as a black woman have to stand in every day. Every day. The signs, I feel you, I see you, I hear you, I stand with you. Do you want to be me? You better get up and lace them boots up and get to fighting, because we have white mothers at the table now. We have white mothers. This is not a race when we think of color, the color of our skin, but it's a race for the fight of our lives, for the fight of our children's lives. It's not about black and white. When I think about our children dying, I think about the rights, the wrongs. I think about our children. I think about us moving forth, and I think about us unifying, and I think about us all coming together as one and standing, because that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. White supremacists, there's nothing supreme about white supremacists. Nothing. What is so supreme about it? And again, because I'm black, I should stay back. Is my skin my sin? No, it's not. Because I know the same Christ that laid on the cross and died for them did the same for my black face, my black body, for our kids' black and brown body. No one is supreme here. It's only one man that sits up high and look down low. His name is God. The kneeling on George Floyd's neck, and the police wanting to kneel with us, St. Paul. Honey, what you need to do is take 2 knees. You need to be kneeling to God, because one ain't gonna help you. One knee ain't gonna get you where you need to be. One knee ain't gonna do it. But I tell you what, the Bible says every tongue shall confess and every head shall bow. They got to give an account for everything they do. Everything. And yeah, white silence is violence. They sit there and they hang out with their boys in blue. You're not gonna tell me, Nico, at any time you got 4 cops, one kneeling on a man's neck while he's handcuffed. Out of other 3, 8 to 9 seconds. One of them, if not all of them, should have got up and knocked him off that man's neck. Instead, they stood there, 3 blind mice, don't know nothing, don't see nothing. See, it's that thing. See no evil, hear no evil, say no evil. It's that thing, and do no evil to each other. But it's okay for them to do it to you or I, just as long as they don't cross the line with each other. It's sad, and I just feel like we need to keep applying pressure. We need to keep going forth. I feel like we can get a breakthrough if we all stand as one. If we keep continuing to show up, show out, and stand together. I feel like we will, this will be the time that we will tear down the walls of Jericho, and we'll be able to get a breakthrough and walk through. That's what I feel like. And it's going to take a collective all, and it ain't about black, it ain't about white, it's about standing. And like I told the white people, I don't care what your fight look like, just come and fight. I can't fight for you, but I can sure fight with you. And if we fighting together, we are strong in numbers. And this is what they're expecting. I can tell you, they're expecting for us to be divided. They're expecting for us to have divisiveness going on. They're expecting for us to go left, to go right, to go front, to go back. They're not expecting for us to come together collectively. But I urge each and every one of us, we need to stand together and remain together and fight together. And we need to be able to get that justice that we so diligently deserve. And that's not about black and white. It's about the people getting what they need. Justice by any means necessary. And when we get that justice, that's when we'll all breathe. Until then, we just taking breaths. I want to be able to breathe. I love you, Nico.
Thank you for your time. I'm going to close this thing up. Well, thank you all for joining. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We are going to take the stream down here from downtown Minneapolis at the Government Center. Again, thank you all for joining. Check out our media on Twitter, UR_Ninja, on Instagram, unicorn.riot, on Vimeo, on YouTube, and on the internet, as well as Facebook. Thank you all again. We are a 501c3 educational nonprofit, viewer supported, so if you have the financial privilege, any donation helps, as well as monthly donations allow us to budget and build the org in the proper manner as we need. So thank you so much for the amazing amounts of support that we have received lately. And again, this is Nico from Unicorn Riot. Thank you for Chris in the back end and anybody else from the Unicorn Riot team. We're out. Have a good night, and we'll probably be live tomorrow. All right.
I'm going to ask you about the documents.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, what's up?
This is Lenar from the Mint Press.
Hey.
I know you always have one with me.
Hey, thank you.
I just want to come introduce myself. I know you're
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I think it's going down, and then I can have a full conversation.
I recognized your voice. I'm like,
Oh, really? Is that
Unicorn Riot.
I recognize your face, Mint Press.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
glad you're following.
Oh, yeah, most stuff.
You know Emma?